What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Oh, what's up, guys? All right, so if you don't know where that's from, then if you're just thinking straight up Night at the Roxbury, you're wrong. What's up, guys? This is ConvoBREAKER, a geek podcast, and I'm your host, Mario Valdez. The reason why I sang that song, or a clip of that song, or tried to sing a clip of that song, because I'm wondering where all the love's at, guys. I love you guys. I know you're listening to the podcast. I see that. So you're showing me some love there, but I haven't heard from you guys. So I don't know if you guys are alive and maybe the subscription is just going through and you guys are not okay. So I want to know if you guys are okay, and I want to hear from you guys. So if you've seen Black Panther, or if you have any comments or opinions on any of the news that I bring up on any of the episodes, hit me up at MV 7.0 on Instagram, or you can hit me up on the Instagram for the podcast, which is ConvoBREAKER GP, or you can hit me up at Facebook at ConvoBREAKER Geek Podcast, or you can also email me ConvoBREAKER at gmail.com. So yeah, I want to hear from you guys, mostly about Black Panther stuff. The hype is still going on for Black Panther. Black Panther is still dominating the box office. I have a little bit of news on Black Panther, not too much. But I guess we'll get right into it and get to the good stuff. I was supposed to have a guest for this episode, but I couldn't get the right stuff to get it going. So maybe another time. I have two guests line up, so as soon as I get everything set up the way I want, then I'll have some guests who happen to have their own podcasts. All right, so let's get into it. Black Panther. So it's still kicking ass at the box office, breaking all kinds of records. I'm not gonna get into all the records that it's breaking, but it looks like it pushed the whole MCU, the total intake. I think if I'm correct, because I should have written these numbers down, but I thought I could remember them. I think it pushed them over 17 billion total for all the films in the MCU. And then also too, if I remember correctly, it's crossed 700 million worldwide. Regardless, it's kicking ass. The movie's doing all kinds of shit as far as box office records go. And I don't remember if I said this last episode when I was talking about Black Panther, but whatever I said about it, well, of course I stand by it. But if I didn't recommend you guys to go see it, I recommend you guys go see it, because it's a movie that, you know, no matter how just good I thought it was, or how whatever, it's still a movie to go check out. Actually, looking back at all the reviews and stuff, because I always look at the reviews after I see a movie, I'm actually thinking about going to go see it again while it's still in theaters, because it's only its second week, I think. So yeah, if you guys get a chance to see Black Panther, I'd also like to hear what you guys think about it. I'd like for you guys to hit me up, show me your love. Another thing, it looks like this is kind of weird, because usually when there's movies, that come out, of course, there's deleted scenes and blah blah blah, and there's always stuff that's going to get cut regardless. But there was a report that came out that said the original cut, I guess without any of the stuff that needed to be cut, there was an original 4-hour cut of the movie. So I don't know. They're trying to see if maybe fans could get something going to where maybe we get the original 4-hour cut on the home release when it comes out. I doubt that'll happen. I'm pretty sure we'll just get a shitload of deleted scenes and stuff like that, or extended scenes on the special features. But yeah, the original cut was 4 hours. And then this is just a little piece of. I just thought it was funny. I'm not trying to bash DCEU, because I think they do that themselves. But I didn't get to see Justice League when it came out. I wanted to, I didn't. But Black Panther pretty much outdid Justice League's entire box office run in just 4 days. So that's insane. And what's funny about Justice League is that though I wanted to see it, everyone who I talked to who saw it recommended I not see it. So that's kind of crazy. And like I said, Black Panther is a movie I recommend. Um, I don't. It's funny because there are movies that are bad that I still recommend for people to see, just so either they can agree with how bad it was with me, or to kind of maybe see something I didn't. And one of those movies is Fantastic Four, the reboot. Um, Somebody told me not to see it. I ended up watching it. I'm kind of glad I did. One movie I regret watching that people warned me not to watch was Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. I liked the first Ghost Rider, and I remember I wanted to see that movie because it came out the week of my birthday of that year, and I ended up not seeing it. So a couple of years later, I was like, you know what? Let me go back and watch it. And my sister and some other people were telling me, do not watch this movie. It sucks. And I was like, I have to see it. It's a Marvel movie, not an MCU movie, but it's a Marvel movie. So sure enough, I saw it, and I actually thought that movie was worse than the Fantastic Four reboot. Because at least I saw what they were trying to do with the Fantastic Four reboot. With the Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance movie, I had no idea what they were trying to do. That movie just confused me, and I thought it was stupid. Another movie that was like that for me was Elektra. Kind of regret going back to see that one because that one you're. But you know what? I still put Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance at the bottom at the bottom of the barrel, even below the Fantastic Four reboot. So yeah, that says something. If you haven't seen the Fantastic Four reboot, I recommend you see it just to see it, because it is a Marvel film. In case you are big on Marvel films, I mean, it's not. I think it was worse on the movie because people nitpicked it so much, and because it wasn't the Fantastic Four that we thought we were gonna get, and the whole thing with Josh Trank and blah blah blah. I mean, if you take it for what it is, it really isn't that bad. Now, if you try to take Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance for what it is, yeah, that's kind of crap. So let's move on to the next piece of news. So this episode, I really don't have a main topic. I'm just gonna go through the interesting news that came out for the past week. I was actually tempted to, since I'm recording this episode a day late than I usually do. I was tempted to talk about some of the news that I saw today, but I'm gonna save that for next episode, for next week's episode. So like I said, I want you guys to hit me up if you guys heard any news you want me to talk about, or anything you found interesting or you want to talk. You know what? Even if you want to send me hate mail and you tell me how much you hate the show, do it. At least I know you're alive, okay? So if you want to send me some hate mail, send me some hate mail, convobreaker@gmail.com. Or, you know what, go ahead and show me the hate on Facebook, ConvoBreaker Geek Pod, at ConvoBreaker Geek Podcast. So just look us up on there, or look me up on there. So this was an interesting piece of news. Um, do I have any hot Cheetos fans out there? Flaming hot Cheetos. Now you're probably thinking, Mario, what the fuck? Where are you going with this? Well, okay, so this is crazy. I was gonna talk about this more in depth with the guests that I was gonna have because I thought it was interesting. But I'm just gonna talk about it myself. So it was announced that Fox Searchlight is developing a movie on Flaming Hot Cheetos. So, like, I guess you guys, if you guys haven't heard the news, you guys are probably thinking what I thought. Like, oh, it's gonna be a animated or a live action like film with a CGI Chester Cheetah or something. That's what I thought, and I was like, oh man, that's gonna be dumb. I was like, but it can't be dumber than the Emoji Movie. And then on top of that, I was thinking, well, their what's it called? Their advertising for that movie should be simple as fuck because I mean, you're gonna have the advertisement on every single fucking Cheeto bag there is in the United States. So, anyways, um, learning more about the film, I found out that it's actually called Flamin' Hot, and it's actually about the Frito Lay's executive, Richard Montanes. It's about how it was about his rise through the company, and if I'm correct, he's the one that accidentally, if I read it right, accidentally came up with the Flamin' Hot Cheetos flavor or brand. I was like, oh, it's kind of. I mean, I guess it's a biopic or whatever, but I mean, I'm really not interested. I mean, if anyone's interested, wouldn't you just make a book about it, right? And it like advertise it on the chip bags. Like after I read that, I'm like, no, I'd rather see a movie about Chester Cheetah and his rise to Cheeto uh mascottery or however you want to say it. But I don't know. I just thought it was weird. So basically, it's called Flamin' Hot, which is lame, and it'd be a biopic about the executive for Frito Lay's. I don't know if he's currently the executive. From what I saw, he is, but I don't know. I just that thought that was weird. And I was like, okay, a Flamin' Hot Cheetos movie. Whatevs. Let me know what you guys think about that. I'd rather see a Look Arms movie. Um, Next piece of news. So Jurassic World. I've been a fan of Jurassic Park since I was a kid, though I wasn't a fan of. Let me see. Lost World kind of bored me. I hadn't seen Lost World in a while. The first half of the movie is good. What was the third one? Oh, it was Jurassic Park 3. That one was whatever. Jurassic World, I really liked. Jurassic World 2. Well, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom's coming out this summer. And it was just announced last week that Jurassic World 3 has a release date of June 11th, 2021. So if you're a Jurassic Park, Jurassic World fan, we already have the release date for Jurassic World 3. That's going to be June 11th, 2021. Speaking of things that are coming up, so we all know Deadpool's coming up, and Deadpool 2 is gonna feature Cable and Domino. It was announced that X Force should be filming soon, probably most likely in the fall, and Ryan Reynolds will be coming back as Deadpool, and Josh Brolin will be coming back as Cable. So X Force should be filming soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if Zazie Beetz will be in this movie reprising her role as Domino. A lot of people were bashing her when she was announced and when her costume design was released because she doesn't look comic accurate. But when I saw the trailer, I don't care as long as it works with how the movie is or in the context of the movie. And when I saw the trailer, I was like, I mean, I don't know why anyone was complaining in the first place. Just shut up and at least wait for the trailer to come out, because this was before the trailer came out. This was just when I guess when they first got her in the costume or makeup or whatever. But I'm looking forward to that. So X Force. Let me see, movies. You know what? I'll stick to movies. There's one piece of news I guess I'll save to the end because it's so ridiculously stupid. Now that I go back and think about it, well, I mean, I thought it was stupid at the time, but whatever. If you guys are horror movie fans, I'll put that in quotations. Um, Lionsgate is working on a Blair Witch series, so I don't know if it's going to be on Netflix or if it's going to be on a television network. But if you guys are a fan of the Blair Witch, a Blair Witch series is in the works. That's all I know. Sometimes things like that don't go through because I know they were working on a. We actually talked about it on one of our episodes. I think it was last year that they were working on a. The Capcom was working with somebody. I think TNT or something. I can't remember, on a Resident Evil live action series, and I think it was supposed to be called like Arclay Mountains or Arclay. So I don't know what happened with that. I'm pretty sure it got scrapped or maybe just didn't go anywhere. But yeah, Blair Witch. Let's see, another piece of news. Let's go with still with movie news. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Do you guys? Do you? Um, if you do, then you'll understand this. Chris Tucker. It looks like Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan are confirmed for Rush Hour 4, which is pretty cool because that's a pretty cool trilogy. I've always liked the Jackie Chan movies. Chris Tucker's pretty funny. I've always wanted to see a third to finish the trilogy of the Shanghai trilogy. So Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights, Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson. It would be cool to see that trilogy or to see that as a trilogy and to see it close out, because I always thought those were fun movies. Basically any like buddy movie with Jackie Chan I always thought was pretty cool, or I was always a fan of. I liked them. On to next piece of news. So this was weird because I didn't know that he was confirmed. I thought he was trying to, I guess, petition for the role or campaign for the role is what I should say. The Joss Whedon wanted to do a standalone Batgirl film for DC. But there was a report that came out saying, well, it was a report in an interview, if I'm correct, saying that Joss Whedon is no longer doing the Batgirl movie, and that now DC is eyeing a female filmmaker. And it looks like the reason why Joss Whedon was dropped, or the reason why he left the project, is because he just simply doesn't have a story. He doesn't have a story. He wasn't working on one. I guess they want to get the Batgirl movie going. So with that, Joss Whedon is no longer attached to the Batgirl DC film. Let's go on next piece. Sticking with DC, The Flash. So if I'm correct, I think the Flash movie is supposed to be Flashpoint. Um, but it was announced, or I guess there was a report stating rumors that rumored villains are gonna be Killer Frost, Captain Cold, and Heatwave. And right away when I saw that, I was like, why would they? I mean, cause you had those three, um, pretty much reoccurring on the last season of the Flash on the CW. And when DC was talking about bringing Deathstroke in for the Batman movie or for Justice League, um, in the DCEU, they kind of stopped using Deathstroke in the CW Arrow show. So I don't know what Killer Frost, Captain Cold, and Heatwave are doing now on the CW show for the Flash, because I know, well, Captain Cold's no longer on Legends of Tomorrow. I don't know if Heatwave's still on there, but I would think now that if that's the case, that CW won't be able to use those villains, at least for the meantime, at least till Flashpoint's done. So I don't know. We'll see what that. I thought that was kind of interesting. And guys, if you guys hear like yelling and stuff, my downstairs neighbors are being really fucking loud. Um, so yeah, hopefully you guys can't hear that. If I had a condenser mic, you guys would be hearing that. But if you want a little inside peek on the show, I'm actually recording on my X-Wing Pilot gamer headset. So that's what I'm using to record the show right now. Just have it attached to my phone. The little podcast secret right there. Another piece of movie news. Oh, well, still DC movie news. Let's stick with DC. DC. So the Joker origin standalone film. Now this makes no sense to me because I know they don't have an actor yet. Blah blah blah. Because I think if they did, they probably. I'm not sure if they would have announced it, but I think we would have heard something permanent because they were last episode. I think I was talking about them eyeing Joaquin Phoenix or something, but that was a rumor. I never believe those until they're, of course, believe them until they're legit. But it's looking for a May production start. So I mean, even if it's pre-production or whatever's, I don't know. I just think that's weird. I think that's kind of a false thing, but I wanted to bring that up just in case all of a sudden we come out with a Joker that's been cast. And like I said, this one again, it'd be a Joker standalone film. It'd be an origin film, and it wouldn't be connected to the DCU that we have right now. But I don't know if we talked about it on one of these past episodes, but it looks like DC is looking at, instead of doing a shared universe, because of the failure that Justice League was at the box office and reception, and the reception whatnot. It looks like they just want to do standalone films now, because there was also a report that uh, Gotham City Sirens was going to happen, and then Margot Robbie, of course, was going to reprise her role as Harley Quinn, but that also there was going to be a Harley Quinn solo movie, and Margot Robbie was, I think, going to be like part producer. She was going to produce it too, and then all this other stuff. And then there was another report saying that there was going to be a Harley Quinn movie that wouldn't be attached to the DCEU. So I have no idea what Warner Brothers and DC are trying to do, but it looks like, if this report is true, that they're going ahead with that Joker standalone that's not even connected to this DCEU. So that's kind of crazy. One more piece of movie news, and then I guess we'll go to the last pieces. So this is a fairly short show. I didn't have a guest, and I didn't have really any feedback from you guys, so I'd like to hear some feedback. This is just a just to show you guys that I love you guys and that I'll keep on with my podcast schedule because this is a weekly podcast. So I want you guys to show me some love because I see you guys. I know you're listening to the show. So I just want to say thanks to everybody who's ever listened or to who's ever downloaded the podcast. We're pretty close to 850 downloads. And that's up to 47 episodes. Don't do the math, but I think that's cool. It probably looks like we'll be hitting 1,000. I'm gonna take a guess that we'll hit 1,000 by like episode 60, but I hope we get there sooner. If you guys like the podcast, share it with your friends. Like I said, we're on iTunes, Spotify. We're on podcast apps for Android and for iOS. Of course, for iOS it'd be podcasts. Spotify, iTunes, all the good stuff. So here's the last piece of movie news before I go to the other stuff. Parent Trap. Well, if you guys grew up in the 90s like I did, then you remember the Parent Trap and Honey I Shrunk the Kids and Honey I Blew Up the Kids. Well, it looks like Disney is looking to reboot both of those movies, but it doesn't look like they'd be theatrical releases though, because from what it looked like is that they were gonna reboot them for their streaming service. So I guess it'd be kind of like Netflix films, what's it called? Netflix exclusive movies, releasing on Netflix. I think that's what Disney would be doing with these movies. So they'd be like exclusive releases, full length films on the Disney streaming service, whatever that's called, and whatever that'll come out. Here's another hidden piece of movie news. So I forgot what studio was attached to this movie I'm about to bring up because I mentioned it when they got the rights. I want to say it was Paramount. I don't know why I don't have that info written here because I remember seeing that piece of info and I was going to get that info. But there's going to be a Sonic the Hedgehog movie coming out. I hope it's not live action. Well, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I like Sonic, but I'm not really interested in a movie. Regardless, it has a 2019 release. So if it has a 2019 release, we might be seeing a trailer sometime at the end of this year or something like that. Because I'm pretty sure that if it has a 2019 release, well, depending what it is, we would have gotten some casting news, but haven't heard anything. So if I hear any news on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I'll let you guys know. Let's see. Next piece of news that has nothing to do with movies now. So this was one of our most downloaded episodes. Let's see what episode it was. Let me go back. Our most downloaded episode and our most engaging episode that I actually... It's funny because you bring up Rick and Morty and everybody goes crazy, especially when you bring up Szechuan sauce. So that episode, we actually got feedback from people that I mean, I guess they found the show because of the whole Szechuan sauce thing that happened. And if you guys don't know, you guys were living under a rock with the whole McDonald's and Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce thing, go back and listen to episode 36. It's pretty crazy. That's like I said, one of our most downloaded episodes. So speaking of Szechuan sauce, when the whole thing happened, McDonald's issued an apology on Twitter, blah blah blah, and they said that Szechuan sauce was going to come out in December or in the winter. Well, it never did. Some people forgot, like I did, and then other people remember, like, hey, you guys said you guys were going to bring back the Szechuan sauce or blah blah blah, whatever. So Szechuan sauce is back. From what I heard, each location has like 10 cases of the sauce. So if you guys are still interested in the damn Szechuan sauce, McDonald's has it now. I don't care. I just thought it was funny when it happened. I actually wanted a poster. But later on when I found out it had really nothing to do with Rick and Morty, it was kind of like a loose Rick and Morty connection because it wasn't an official thing. I don't know, it was just kind of, and then the whole thing with people acting stupid and stuff like that. I mean, I literally, if you go back and listen to the episode, I can tell you that I was at the McDonald's location I was at for less than 5 minutes. I didn't start no shit, alright? Don't start no stuff, won't be no stuff, right? So, like I said, Szechuan sauce is back if you're interested. If you're interested in listening to that episode, and you want to hear talk about Rick and Morty and Szechuan sauce event that happened, go ahead and listen to that episode, episode 36. Last piece of news. So, oh my god, I wish I had someone to talk to about this, but so we talked about net neutrality, and we all know that that's going to change the rules of basically the internet. and the FCC ordered that net neutrality end on April 23rd. So I really didn't know what too much info on net neutrality. I was trying to wrap my head around it. We had a short discussion about it. One of our past episodes. I can't remember what episode it was. If I remember correctly, it was. Let's see if I can find the episode. Hmm. Uh. Not sure. Going through my notes and I can't find it. Anyways, so basically net neutrality, what's it going to do, the gist of it, it's going to give the internet providers the ability to make the rules with how their customers use their service. So basically there isn't going to be any set rule for anybody or whatever. You providers are going to independently be able to say, I guess, make rules like well, I mean, I just can't even think of what they would do. But basically, they get to make the rules on how we use their services. And I don't know how that's going to work out, especially since, gamers, of course, playing online and stuff, you're going to use, tons of data. So you're going to get like the best data plan that you can get as far as, internet. And I mean, if providers start tweaking with, because I know some providers don't want to tweak with the formula that we have now. A lot of them don't want to screw with their customers like that. But this gives providers, the chance to maybe make more money or to. I mean, I really don't know, but or maybe it might. I don't know. It's just really hard to tell. What they wanted to do basically was get the internet as a whole back to how it was in the early days, back when the internet was just beginning. And this is where they screwed up. They said they wanted to take it back to the internet beginnings because that's the internet's beginnings because that's when it thrived and that's when it was, that of course there wasn't what there is then. Well, they didn't have then what we have now. All the streaming services, all these, just all kinds of websites and things that require. I mean, come on, we have like high, HD, high quality videos. We have now everyone listens to music, with you either hooked up to Wi-Fi or of course with the data on your phone. So they were saying like, yeah, let's take it back to those days where there's restrictions here and restrictions there. But I don't. How stupid could they be? I mean, that was then. Like, there was hardly anyone on the internet, and back when it was first starting, it was mainly for businesses and people who well, yeah, businesses, and I guess people were going to school. There were early versions of social media, but it wasn't, I guess the first big one. Maybe I'm wrong. There might have been one before that I don't know about, but I know MySpace was the first big one that drew everybody on there. Because at that point, I guess in their early beginnings, right? Well, I guess shortly after that, right when social media started coming out, Facebook was one of those things that it was, like I said, for students or for people in business. What was the point I was trying to make? The point I was trying to make is that they didn't have none of that then, and for you to try to put a restriction on something as big as it is now, I just think that it'll hurt, the internet. And a lot of people think that, because then, I mean, nobody was on it. I mean, and oh, now I know what I was gonna say. Like even before MySpace and the early Facebook, you had Yahoo groups. So I mean that's how people connected. That didn't use a whole bunch of data, but now you got Facebook to where you have your app running in the background if you're on your phone and it's updating, sending you notifications, all this stuff. Before everything was just linked to your email, you got a notification, boom, and went to your email. That or even the early days of notifications for social media, you would get a text message to your phone. And actually, I want to talk about that. Well, this was kind of a bummer, but I was talking to a friend of mine at the time, and I had my Facebook synced up to my phone. So this was no, not Facebook. Was it Facebook? MySpace. I want to say, oof, damn, I don't remember what it was. I want to say it was on my Motorola Razr. I can't even remember what phone it was. But the point is that I had my notifications synced to my text messages. I don't think they do that anymore. But so, anyways, what happened was I changed numbers and I forgot that it was linked. So my friend was trying to message me, and later on I find out, of course, through the messages on Facebook, I could see the messages that were being sent from the text message from my old number, by whoever had it. So it wasn't me, but it was still connected because you could reply by text to that message or to that comment. I want to say it was MySpace, but God, I'm sure it was Facebook. So, so long story short, that person was being dumb and made my friend think that I was saying bad stuff and didn't want to talk to her. So I ended up not talking to her, and I later on I tried talking to her, and she was like, I guess she thought that I was trying to blow her off or something. But I mean that was okay. I don't know where I was going with that story, but basically that sucked, and that was like the early shit for social media and the internet and blah blah blah. It was one of the early things. It was a step forward, blah blah blah, because it was connected to her phone. But the point is that it didn't take a lot of data, I guess, and I guess, okay, let's make a bigger story short. Let me just cut to the point. Basically, what they're gonna do is they're gonna put a restriction on the internet, and I think it's gonna constrict the what we have going on right now. I think that when that goes into effect, maybe we won't see it right away, but we're gonna see a lot of issues going on. Maybe I don't know. I just, especially me, since I do the podcast, I'm kind of afraid now. Maybe I'm gonna have a hard time getting my stuff up, or maybe people are gonna have a hard time getting to my podcast. I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see what happens, and maybe when it happens, maybe there will be another push to get net neutrality back up. Because maybe there isn't a lot of pushback, because maybe there's people like me who don't really understand, or maybe because no one really understands what's really going to happen. So I think until it happens, that's when pushback will start. So I guess that's all I have to say. If you guys have anything that you know or that you'd like to talk to me about when as far as goes with net neutrality, or if you'd like to enlighten me with something that I don't know about it, or maybe you just want to show me or tell me your opinions based off of what you know. I'd like to see them on Facebook at ConvoBreaker Geek Podcast, or email me convobreaker@gmail.com. So that's today's episode. Uh, just want to show you guys some love and show you guys I still love you. So hope to see you guys, and I want to talk to you guys. That's what Convo Breaker's all about. Convo Breaker's all about the conversation. It's also about interrupting each other, which I don't have anyone to interrupt me right now, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so Convo Breaker. See you guys later. Take care.